Well, today I have for you guys a strain. It's called Pure Haze. Apparently, it's from Southern California, popular during the 60s and the 70s. It's a sativa dominant strain. I'm told that it's very good for its supposed calm effects as a sativa strain, as opposed to, that normally being the primary effect of an indica strain. Typically, you won't see a sativa strain as described as calm. It's usually more so energetic or something of that sort. But apparently, this is a very good daytime strain for both depression, anxiety, also fatigue, things of that sort in nature. So I'm excited to try this one out. It does seem like it's a little bit different than the usual strain. So normally I wouldn't pay this much. It says it's $55 for an eighth, which is 3.5 grams, obviously. Normally I wouldn't pay this much, and I didn't pay this much. I got a special deal for this one. But, as you can see, the trichomes on that are pretty exceptional, right? It's well trimmed. Generally looks good. Big buds, not a lot of stem. Pretty much can just put it in your grinder, grind away, and not have to worry about it. I prefer that because oftentimes the bud that I'm getting is a lot more airy. It isn't too much so exceptional in that regard. I definitely have to do a lot of plucking and whatnot before I can actually put it in my grinder, and it's just not a lot of fun. So having something like this, I much prefer. So yeah, I definitely like the way that this looks. Let's see how it smells. I removed the seal just recently. It had a seal on the top, but I wanted to go ahead and prepare some for my pipe and the grinder, so that's why there's no seal here just now. Alright, and so it's a difficult smell to describe. I would definitely say that it's strong. I wouldn't say that it's pungent. I'd say that it's strong. It's not overpowering. But it's not weak either. It's not timid. It's definitely citrusy smell. It's an earthy smell. It's maybe even a little bit lemony, I would describe it. But it definitely smells very appealing. And so I'm interested to see how it's going to taste. Let's go ahead and see about that. So like I said, I already prepared a pipe here. So you can just go ahead and get a close-up of that there. Not really sure what you're going to be seeing, but that's what it's going to look like. It's a bit fluffier than usual. Like I said, usually I'm not going to get the highest quality of marijuana. Typically I will get a high THC, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's high quality. It's just what's best for me. I think this one particularly is, let's see here, it doesn't say directly on the bottle here, but I think it was 29 point something percent THC. So that's pretty ridiculous for a sativa, and for even Pure Haze specifically to be found in 29% THC. Now you won't find Pure Haze everywhere. It is, sort of a locale-specific strain, but if you can find it, usually on the western side of the seaboards, then it is something that I would recommend. Just go ahead and give this a try and see how I feel afterwards. Maybe I'll go ahead and watch a couple of videos and just try to give it the best sort of feeling description that I can. All right? So the taste is pretty true to the smell. I'd say it's a little bit more earthy in taste than smell, but overall very, very good. It's appealing. So it's something that I would recommend so far. Like I said, I'm going to watch maybe a video or two and just kind of see how it makes me feel, because that might take just a minute or two to kick in. Hey guys, so I went ahead and I took a few more hits as promised. Actually just went ahead and finished the rest of the bowl there. And I watched a few different videos and whatnot, just tried to give myself the best possible baseline for how I felt And I'll say that I agreed with much of what we read, much of what I put up on the screen, and much of what I talked about, but some of it I disagreed with, and I'll tell you what. So I agreed with the fact that the number one sensation that you're going to get off of this strain, again, pure haze, is going to be a sense of calmness. Now, I oftentimes saw this as described as an energetic calmness, and that's what I would disagree with. I didn't necessarily feel an energetic calmness or any sense of energy and inspiration to do things, anything like that. Instead, I felt what I would best describe as, I guess, a contentedness, right? A willingness to sort of kick my feet up, relax, let the world spin about me, take my hands off the wheel, if you will. And that's what I enjoyed about this strain. It was a different sense of calm. It wasn't one that I've actually experienced in many different strains before. I'd say that it would probably be a good daytime strain for anxiety, just because unlike, say, well, generally there are two different recommendations for anxiety, at least as I've heard them. There's the sativa, that's especially psychedelic, and that's supposed to remove you from your problems for those reasons. And then there's the indica that can make you very, very tired and sort of groggy, and in that way removed from your problems as well. So those are the two general recommendations, neither of them especially great, but this strain in particular I found to be just, again, more so inducing a sense of contentedness, and therefore I acknowledged my problems. I recognized that they still existed. I didn't feel removed from them, but I didn't feel like they were overwhelming either. So again, a very good daytime strain for anxiety. Another thing that I found with this strain was that I was more easily interested in things that I wouldn't normally hold that much interest in. So whenever I was going through the different videos, I kind of stopped and paused and maybe even watched the first few seconds of things that normally I wouldn't have given the time of day. So I would say that if you ever need to sort of, pique your interest in something just a little bit, especially with creative tasks, then this would probably be the strain for you. I wouldn't say, again, that this is necessarily inspiring creativity, but of course it's not diminishing it. So maybe, for example, if I'm going to edit this video afterwards, that's a creative task that sometimes isn't all that interesting. Using this strain, it's not going to dull my sharpness that much. I feel pretty much clear-headed, but it will, kind of pique my interest in actually what I'm doing, as opposed to me just sort of droning on and not being so interested in what I'm doing. Overall, this is a strain that I would definitely recommend if you can find it. It's, again, locale specific, so maybe you can find it as far east as Colorado, but usually you're going to find it closer to the western side, so maybe California, Nevada, things like that. But ultimately, if you can get your hands on it, I'd highly recommend it. I just want to reiterate, it is very different than most sativas, hybrids, indicas, anything I've kind of gotten my hands on before. I'm not sure if it's just because it was a very, very high tier of marijuana, or if it was just that particular strain, but again, I would definitely recommend it. Let me know if you guys have any recommendations for next time as far as strains that you might want me to review, so on and so forth, changes you might want me to make to the series and things of that nature. But until next time, thank you guys, and I appreciate it.